everybody. Welcome back to Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. And as you can tell, one of us is pretty happy. One of us is very distraught about the direction of at least one of our football teams. One outcome expected, we feel like, this week. The other, well, was a football game. But Waff, other than that, and we'll get into it. How you feeling, man?
I'm hurt. I don't feel good. I'm be honest with you. I'm not feeling anything after after Saturday and Monday. So we're good thing it's nothing we haven't gone through before.
Yeah, true.
I guess. But anyway.
Yeah, so let's just roll into a recording on Tuesday. Last night, Monday Night Football is doubleheader. And it was the Buffalo Bills and Tennessee Titans. They met last year on Monday Night Football. It was a heck of a ball game in Nashville. The Titans won on a goal line stand. And this one looked like it was going to be a great game early on as well. 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. Titans got a big defensive stop to the Bills. Figured, okay, here we go again. 17-7 at halftime. Thinking, okay, this is still a pretty close game. Chance for Titans to come out. They get the ball to start the second half. And then the Bills dropped 24 points in the third quarter on the Titans and end up winning 41-7 in this one. Josh Allen and the starters do not play the entire game. They're taken out in the third quarter for the Bills. That's Case Keenum, James Cook, and others do mop-up duty. And this was a game where the Bills didn't have Gabe Davis. They then had Dane Jackson get hurt on a scary play. Luckily, found out today he's good. He's fine, released from the hospital. Nothing serious. We'll probably miss this week, you would assume, against the Dolphins. We'll get more into that later. And, yeah, just kind of a little mismatch of guys out there for the Bills at times. Jake Kumaro was starting for the Bills, and he was the second leading receiver for the Bills, which is wild to think about. Granted, he got most of it all in one play. But this game was, again, preseason, everybody said, the Bills are the best team in the NFL, probably, with good offense and defense. And they showed it. Josh Allen, 26 of 38, 317 yards, 4 touchdowns, a sack once. His favorite target was Stephon Diggs. Again, 12 catches, 148 yards, 3 touchdowns for Stephon Diggs. Like I said, Jake Kumaro, 2 catches, 50 yards. Dawson Knox, 4 catches, 41 yards. And then the Bills had the rushing game going at 101 yards rushing. James Cook, 11 carries, 53 yards. Devin Singletary had 6 carries for 19 yards. Zach Moss had 3 carries for 17 yards. I was wondering where Reggie Gilliam was, but that was actually a little swing pass, they called it, on his touchdown. He had 2 catches for 17 yards and a touchdown. That was early in the game. And the Bills' defense came on strong. They had 2 picks, including a Matt Milano pick 6, his first career touchdown for Milano. They also had 2 sacks, one by Greg Rousseau, one by Tremaine Edmonds, who was flying around the field. And then toward the end of the game, you saw Malik Willis become the first rookie quarterback to play in the NFL this season. But, well, of course, I'm going to tell you, I'm happy, of course, because that's a perfect game by the Bills. Like we said, they had miscues against the Rams, the 4 turnovers, and still rolled against them. And this game, they did nothing wrong, really. Just had the 1 4th down conversion, weird play where Josh Allen kind of threw the ball away. Nothing was going well. Good read by the Titans defense. I think it was just a questionable play call by Ken Dorsey, but again, didn't lead to any Titans points despite it being early in the game. And other than having the other drive that stalled out for a field goal from Tyler Bat, which was the false start, which correctly ruled a false start on the Bills after a second look down the line. Yes, that was a false start by the Bills as the player for the Titans got back away from the neutral zone. But other than that, really a perfect game for the Bills. Like we said, hope Dane Jackson's okay. Is this the only banged up player, really? There were some other banged up players for both sides. Taylor Lewan banged up in this one. He had to leave. Mitch Morse left and came back in for the Bills. So, but other than that, perfect game for the Bills. But Waff, I just want to kind of hear what you saw as a Titans fan, really, after that first drive when it was 7-7. After that, it just went all downhill for the Titans.
Yeah, so not a fun night if you're me, obviously. 41-7. Titans are no stranger to blowout losses. There's the Snowmageddon game in New England back in like 2008, 9, whatever it was 59-0. There was one time we got beat by Green Bay 55-0, like on Christmas. So Merry Christmas to me, and whatever. But I don't even know where to begin. I'm just going to take you through. I'll take you through the play-by-play a little bit. So we start off. Obviously, Buffalo's rocking. The crowd last night was amazing. The atmosphere looked great up in Buffalo. And Titans deferred, which I love. I actually like that. It seems like Steve Levy and them had a vendetta against Titans freaking deferring. But I like that when your offense has, obviously it's only been 1 week, but they struggled last week. The defense is your strong suit, or at least we thought.
Yeah.
Based on last year, I don't hate that decision. You get the ball after halftime, and it is what it is. And so Buffalo gets the ball first. They go 12 plays, 75 yards. Missed opportunities for Tennessee here. There were at least two or three times where we got Buffalo to third down and could not get off the field. And then ultimately the backbreaker at the end of the drive, the little swing pass out to Reggie Gilliam for 11 yards. It was blown up by Zach Cunningham, and he should have been down, but missed tackle there, and Gilliam scampers into the end zone for a touchdown. Place is rocking. But props to Tennessee for coming out 9 plays, 75 yards, and scoring a touchdown. Too bad that's all they did all night. But the first drive looked good. Tannehill throwing to Treylon Burks, who had 14-yard reception, and obviously Derrick Henry could not get the ball moving. But Tennessee answered back with a touchdown, and then Buffalo gets the ball, goes 7 plays, 44 yards, and then is the 4th down stop by the Titans defense, which I thought was a really great play by Kevin Byard there, albeit, a questionable call. But Byard crashes down, and you got, I think it was Kumaro.
Kumaro kind of got lost a bit.
Trying to pick him up, and Kevin Byard just showing his veteran status, timing the snap right, and before Kumaro could turn his head to try to get Byard was already past and blew it up. So lots of momentum there. I was excited, and Tennessee gets the ball back and goes on a 9-play, 11-yard drive. And so obviously the only way that can happen is penalties. And boy, that drive was killed by some penalties. So missed opportunity for Tennessee there. And then the field goal, we held Buffalo to a field goal. So obviously not out of it by any means. And we follow that up by going 3 and out. And let's see what the play calls were here. Yes, my favorite. A steady diet of run, pass, punt. I swear, if that took time off my life, I would already be dead. As many times as I've seen that, and I'm so sick of that. I know we have Derrick Henry in the backfield, and I still love Derrick Henry, and God, I hope he can figure it out. But run, pass is the most predictable BS in the world when you have a run-heavy offense. And Derrick Henry goes for 4 yards on the first one, and the second one goes for -4 yards. So now we're stuck with 3rd and 10. And what do? Check it down. Amazing. Ryan Stonehouse, get out there and punt. Let me tell you what, Stonehouse, new punter.
Great punts, though.
I really
some beautiful punts. I will admit that. He looked
I'm
really
a big fan. I loved Brett Kern, and Brett Kern was great for us in these past 3 years. Obviously Brett Kern's been there for many more years than the 3. He's always been great, but these last 3 years, sometimes single-handedly changing a game for Tennessee. A good punter's a weapon. Never take that for granted.
Yeah, for sure. Sam Martin had a great game too.
Yeah, of course.
He changed the game this night.
Yeah. So anyway, Tennessee goes 3 and out after the most predictable Todd Downing BS you've ever seen. And Buffalo goes 8 plays, 77 yards like it ain't nothing. Now it's 17-7. But here's another issue of mine. Tennessee gets the ball back with a minute left in the quarter, and they run the clock out. What? With 2 timeouts? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so the play was incomplete pass, first pass. Von Miller, I think, got a hand on it. second down, short 12-yard pass, and that's when Dane Jackson got hurt. There was a big stoppage for that. But you come and, of course, Bills have to use a timeout. So you don't have to. So you have 45 seconds left, still 2 timeouts. And then Greg Russo sacks Tannehill on first down. And so I'm thinking, okay, timeout here, regroup, whatever. And the Titans just stand there.
And they just give up.
Yep, just stood there looking at the clock.
Just take it to the half, expecting to come out in the second half and things to change. No, they're not.
Yeah.
So the Tannehill gets sacked and you take 2 timeouts to the freaking to the crib with you. You don't get those back. I just don't understand. Like, I mean, we had 40 let's say 40 yards to gain. That would put you on the 35-yard line. Yeah, it'd be a long field goal, but it's something that I'm confident that Randy Bullock can make, albeit, he missed the game winner last week, but you got to go 40 yards. You already picked up 12. There's 45 seconds left. You got 2 timeouts. Why are we letting it run out? And Ryan Tannehill in the press conference after the game said that Tannehill said that he wanted to go for it. The team wanted to try to push it down there and do something, but it was a coaching decision. So Ryan Tannehill throwing the coaching staff under the bus, and rightfully so. Yeah. It was so infuriating. Just, obviously it came into play later when this game turned into a rout, but and Tennessee comes out after halftime, punts it away after 5 plays. After a Robert Woods sighting, 17 yards on a play for him, and drive stalls out because guess what? Run, pass. And Stonehouse punts 55 yards, booms it to the end zone, and the Bills go 80 yards in 7 plays, 2 minutes off the clock, 24-7. Titans punt, Bills punt, Bills get a field goal. So, I mean, at this point, obviously you're down 20 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
That
was the first Bills punt in the last, I think, 2 or 3 games going back to last year, and it was a muff. So it really didn't count.
Which obviously is impressive.
By the Bills, so.
The freaking muff by Kyle Phillips, which that's also depressing. 2 muffs in 2 weeks. I imagine he will be relieved of his punt return duties. And the Bills get a field goal, which is a nice stop by Tennessee's defense. Is this also when? Oh, I can't. Oh shoot! I should have bookmarked where it was. There's a play in the end zone. I'm pretty sure this is when it happens. When Amani Hooker.
Yeah, Amani Hooker drops the pick and would actually almost called it. Yeah,
it was very nonchalant, and like upon watching it live, I thought he called it, and then obviously after the replay, if they would have reviewed it, I think it would have been close, but I don't think they would have overturned.
In college, it's a pick for sure. I think it's one of those you look at, but I think it was just he didn't get his back foot down.
Yeah. Well, no, hold on. I believe he got both feet down. It was just when he went to the ground.
Oh, yeah, he lost control. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he drug his back foot, but he kind of bobbled it a bit. Yeah.
It's a hell of a play by Amani Hooker, but obviously too little, too late. And I don't even know. I mean, if we get that, we're probably going to run, pass, and punt again. So, I mean, that's what it is.
You're at the 20. All right, run,
anyway,
pass.
Yeah. So, great. But I'm trying to shout out some positives here. Good job, Amani. That was great. And then we come out and throw an interception that was thrown high, gets tipped around 3 times. Jordan Poyer comes up with the interception. Buffalo turns that into an easy touchdown. It's 34-7. It's over. And then insult to injury. Ryan Tannehill, January of 2022, Ryan Tannehill shows up and throws it straight to, who was it? Matt Milano?
Matt Milano, yeah.
Like literally straight to him. Like Ryan must have the eyesight of Jameis Winston pre-LASIK eye surgery. Because good God, I could have seen him from 500 yards away without a telescope. Anyway, Titans punt, and at this point, Ryan Tannehill gets benched. Probably a combination. Ryan Tannehill got taken out because it was 41-7. I'm not going to say. I think if the game was close, if it was 17-7 after that pick six, I mean, Ryan Tannehill's obviously not coming out of that game.
No.
But you see the shot of Vrabel and Todd Downing talking to talking to Ryan there. I guess I don't really know. I would love to know what they said. But whatever. Malik Willis comes in. Obviously, it's dead. I mean, this game's way over.
Yeah.
All the backups are in. I mean, for what it's worth. Malik Willis didn't even have a good day. I don't even know what to say, bro. Malik Willis fumbled.
Yeah.
Bills punted 2 more times. We punted again, and that was the end of it. And mercifully, this game is finished. Finals. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just saying. Case Keenum final drive went 6 minutes to run out the clock. That's how this game went. Really, for Titans. Case Keenum led a 6-minute drive where he threw the ball twice, did not complete any passes, and they just ran the ball out. So at that point, it was kind of like, yep, this game's over. So
yeah. All right. So now I'm gonna go over the stats, and this is where I'm gonna get negative. As if I haven't already been. Ryan Tannehill, 11 of 20, 117 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, I just flat out, that's obviously not good. But all right, but okay. But before I go on, I'm doing the Bills a disjustice. The Bills are everything that everybody says they're going to be. They are. Who do you think you are? I am. That's who the Bills are. And they freaking put on an absolute show 2 straight weeks against the defending Super Bowl champs. And if it means anything, the 1 seed from last year. But so
listen, this is a team that beat them Bills 2 years in a row. So it's not like they have dominated Titans in the past.
Yes. I mean, I know this is a win that Bills fans will cherish and love to see. Obviously, there's a lot more history between Titans and Bills from back before you and I even watched the games. But Bills are great. Your offense is amazing. Your defense complements the offense so well. They're the best defensive unit in football right now. It's rare that we see the team with all the preseason hype look this good, honestly, and they have looked really good. So props to the Bills, a fantastic team. Going into this game, I mean, I always like to say the Titans have a chance. This is the kind of game that Tennessee in the last couple of years has thrived on. Like, off a bad loss, Mike Vrabel's great at rebounding. This was awful. This was not good. Bills, like you said, played a dang near perfect game. Can't say enough good about the Bills. So anyway, Ryan Tannehill, bad. Offensive line, horrendous. Taylor Lewan, non-contact injury. Haven't heard exactly what it is, but I'm almost 100% sure it's probably an ACL. It's a non-contact injury that's going to sideline him for the rest of the year. And I'm sad to say this, this is the end of Taylor Lewan in Tennessee.
Probably.
He hasn't played a full season since 2017. The contract's obviously big. He got paid and he deserved it. This is most likely the end of Taylor Lewan in Tennessee, which makes me very sad. But Taylor Lewan goes out. We plug in Dennis Daly, who's a guy we picked up from the Panthers practice squad because he's better than Dylan Radins, who we drafted in the 2nd round from North Dakota State. So last year, I think that Tennessee had a fantastic 2019 draft. 2019 was A.J. Brown. It was Jeffrey Simmons. It was David Long, and some others. God, I can't remember the exacts, but very good draft. And then Tennessee has had 2 bad drafts stacked in between 2019 and then this year's still a question mark. I think some of the things I've seen are pretty good, but drafting left tackle, we drafted offensive line help. We drafted Isaiah Wilson. Obviously, that was awful. And then the next year we draft Dylan Radins out of North Dakota State. And you mean to tell me that Dennis Daly is better than Radins? I refuse to believe that. That Radins he must be awful. God, Dennis Daly was awful. And the same goes for the rest of the offensive line. I love Ben Jones, our center. Bad. Aaron Brewer, Nate Davis, and then Nicholas Petit-Frere, the rookie on the right tackle. I'll give him a pass. He has looked good for what it's worth, but the offensive line as a whole, bad. We can't run the football. Obviously, our offense is predicated on the run and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry finishes with 13 carries for 25 yards. You are never going to win a game like that, obviously. I think everybody knows that. And now the talks are from every outlet, everybody's going to talk Derrick Henry. It's over. The running back, he's had a first major injury. He's done, kaput. And who knows? Who knows? Like I said last week, as the season goes on, Henry will get his. I do think that Henry is obviously still extremely stupid talented, and will run for a good bit of yards this year. But obviously, Bills did a fantastic job of shutting him down. And the biggest thing, something that I've known, but Dan Orlovsky pointed out a lot last night, was that a thing that the Bills did really good of is when Derrick Henry got the football in the backfield, they made him stop his feet. And that's partly because the Bills defense is great. That's also partly because the offensive line is trash. There's no holes.
Yeah.
And also it's because, oh God, this infuriates me, Richard. The freaking toss sweep.
Yep, I was about to bring that up.
Playbook. never run that freaking play again. We ran it like 5 times and it lost yardage every time.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Downing, you absolute donkey. I cannot stand you. Toss sweep. You're not going to beat the Bills laterally. We don't have Derrick Henry is a freak athlete, but Derrick Henry doesn't necessarily have the acceleration speed on the outside to get around that. And our offensive line can't pull and reach these guys.
No.
Like, why are we running toss sweeps? So freaking infuriating. Think about it. Derrick Henry got 13 carries last night. That's it. And at least 4 of them were toss sweeps. That's awful. And they all lost yards.
Yeah. Like, it was like it was one of those.
Obviously trash.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying.
Go ahead.
With those toss sweeps, just like it was one of those where if it wasn't Tremaine Edmonds getting in there, it was the corners. Like Kyer Elam was flying in there. Christian Benford was flying in there.
Yes.
Getting the tackle for loss, or Jordan Poyer's flying in there. So like it wasn't just the linebackers like flying to the edge; it was the fast corners flying out there and getting the stops. So that just a weird play call to keep going to that when you know that it's better to run him inside right at the defense.
Yeah, and so the big thing out of last week was talking about who the Titans had in personnel in crunch time. Obviously, there was no crunch time Monday night for the Titans, but this is not even a positive. I don't have anything positive to say about this game, but the leading receivers for Tennessee were Traylon Burks, Robert Woods, and Austin Hooper. Okay, at least the 3 guys that we brought in this offseason to help this offense and be the starters were featured the most, I guess.
Right.
But also had a Josh Gordon sighting. Obviously, he was just elevated from the practice squad. I'm not an idiot. I don't expect him to do anything. He didn't do anything. No receptions. But yeah, man, this was bad. And as far as the defense goes, leading tackler for Tennessee was Roger McCreary, the rookie out of Auburn. I like what this kid brings to the table. Obviously, just played the Bills. I mean, I think he's going to settle in. He's a rookie, still makes obviously mistakes. Tough week. Kevin Byard, 7 tackles, 6 of them solo. Please, we put an undrafted rookie on Stephon Diggs probably 75% of the night. Yeah. Why? How stupid is that? When your defense is banged up, obviously we're missing Christian Fulton. Bud Dupree also went down after the first quarter.
Yeah.
He's showing that he's not durable because he was hurt all last year, which was obviously a big question before we signed him to 5 years, $85 million. And the defense is pretty depleted already. And you want to put an undrafted rookie on what could be the best receiver in the league? Please tell me where that makes sense. Like, I understand. Like when you get desperate situations like that, you got to figure you got to do something better than that.
Yeah.
You got to put Roger McCreary out there, who's also a rookie, but he's also a 2nd-round draft pick. He's a starter.
Yeah.
You're going to have to put him on there. And then, not to mention, Caleb Farley, our 1st-round pick from last year, got abused all night. So that's just great to see as well. So, nothing positive about this game except Ryan Stonehouse. We stand a good punter. But yeah, this was not pretty. And you know what? Things don't necessarily get any easier next week. We play the Raiders, who are also desperate at 0-2. So Could be an absolute dogfight. Since they changed the playoff format in 2020, no team that has started 0-2 has ever made the playoffs. Now, the Titans' saving grace might be the AFC South because it is trash.
Yeah.
We'll get into that here soon. But this is just, I mean, a primetime performance. Everybody sees you. Not that many people had faith in Tennessee, even over the past 3 years anyway. This definitely doesn't help that cause. But, I mean, if something doesn't change, man, we might be for a long season. And Vrabel and them came out today and obviously said, I don't expect them to fire Downing. I really don't.
No.
I'm all aboard the fire Todd Downing train, but I don't expect them to do that. And Vrabel came out today and he said, we're not doing that. But he said at this time, we're not doing that at this time. So is week 10 a good time when you're possibly 3-6? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe push will come to shove, but for right now, we're just going to have to deal with it and take it 1 week at a time. And yeah. Bills look great. Good job.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said at the beginning of the year, I didn't want to get excited, but after 2 great games against, Rams, defending champions on the road, and then you come home big time, don't want to have a letdown, back-to-back primetime games, and against a team that you've struggled against the last 2 years and come out and do that to them. Big time for the Bills. Got me very excited for this team. Again, this is without Trey White. This is with Poyer banged up. This is with Dane Jackson going down, possibly out next week. Now, and then, of course, without Gabe Davis, the probably been your most consistent wide receiver since last season. So seeing that makes me happy. But this week, going to be a big-time test against the Dolphins down in Miami for sure, and we'll talk about that. But let's roll through the rest of week 2 in the NFL season. It was insanity.
It was really good. So
starting from the jump, Chargers and Chiefs Thursday night on Amazon Prime. Now, Waff, did you have any issues with the stream, like kind of looking like pixels and kind of crappy at times? Because I did a little bit, but not too much.
It wasn't. I don't think it wasn't necessarily as bad as people made it out to be, but there were plenty of moments where, the crystal clear HD was prevalent, but then there was also very choppy moments. So I think they just have some kinks to work out. But the broadcast, the duo of Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit is the duo I didn't know I needed. They are amazing.
Oh, yes, very good. They are very good. And it was very good. I think it was nothing really new as a broadcast. I don't think it was like the most game-changing thing ever. Like the graphics were nice, like the package looked good and all this stuff. But like, it was good. It was a good broadcast. Like I said, other than a couple of times, but I think I saw somewhere that was the largest sign-up day for Amazon Prime ever because of the NFL games. So that's with Prime Day, Black Friday, all those deals they have, which just shows you that football's king. Because
football is king.
I mean, you don't everybody signing up just for 17 weeks probably out of the entire season. So
the
entire year.
While talking about broadcasts, I didn't have to use it this weekend, but NFL Sunday Ticket was also not working very well this past weekend, which would have made me very upset. But I unfortunately didn't have to use it on Sunday. But that whole thing, like this better be the final year of DirecTV owning Sunday Ticket, because everything else is so accessible, with the exception of the only area team that I think you and I both pull for are the Braves. Well, I mean, you're in Texas now, but like here in South Carolina, with YouTube TV, we don't get Bally Sports, so it's tough to watch the Braves. You can't even get MLB.TV to watch them. So, but with everything else is so accessible. League Pass, I can watch the Grizzlies anytime I want. I can also watch, if I had a really hot hockey team that I loved, I could watch every Calgary game or whatever I wanted to do.
Exactly.
But the NFL is the only one that is locked behind a certain company that is not accessible for everybody, and that's so stupid. It needs to end, because football is king, but at the same time, you're keeping it firewalled behind something that not everybody has. Now, a lot of people have DirecTV, but now the age of streaming, It's got to evolve.
Yeah, I think it is. I think I saw where like Apple TV's up to bid for it. I know Apple TV's getting MLS next year, and they're going to have no blackouts on those games. So that'll be interesting to see if maybe that's their put a toe in the water and then see, okay, because if they get that with no blackouts, game changer. It's Apple TV's got the biggest game changer if they can get NFL with no blackouts, because that means like where you are, like in South Carolina, you know, if you were a Panthers fan, you don't have to worry about this game being blacked out. You can just turn on, watch it. There you go. Right. So, so that's a big time deal. Interesting to see that. But to the actual game, instant classic, like we usually fought between these two. Patrick Mahomes didn't look great at times though, but ended up willing his team got a win. Justin Herbert though, the toughest guy out there, took a tough shot to the ribs, goes out and throws a touchdown drive to make this one interesting late. But unfortunately, the Chargers fall there, and now Herbert kind of questionable. But Herbert, 33 of 48, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns. Mike Williams, after doing nothing last week, comes alive, 8 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. It was just beautiful, but of course, just not enough as the Chiefs are able to win that one. But really fun game, and again, they play each other again later this year.
Yeah, this is going to be obviously a fun division to keep your eyes on, because this division is loaded with talent on all teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA, Herbert was amazing. He got hurt, threw the pick 6, which ultimately lost the game. But yeah, this was a great game, and you know, props to the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they look really good. Clyde Edwards-Helaire stringing together 2 pretty good games, so that's good for the state of their run game, because obviously they're missing Tyreek Hill. Still got weapons, obviously, but it's good to see them get the run game going. But yeah, this is going to be fun for the rest of the year.
Yeah, fun clashes for sure. Go to Sunday. What a wild game in Cleveland between the Jets and the Browns. This one was kind of ho-hum, boring game, and then the Browns took a lead. And regardless of what happens before 2-minute warning, the clock was going to stop, and then Nick Chubb takes it into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the day. Some people are saying, "Oh, you should have fallen down with the 2 point." I think at that point you were up by 13. You think it's going to be 14 because you're thinking, "Oh, kicker is automatic," but as of week 1, we learned that it's not.
Right.
Chubb goes and scores, and they miss the extra point, but you're still up by 13. Psych, Jets, 2 plays, touchdown. They make the field goal. It's a 6-point game, but they still have no timeouts. Jets have no timeouts at this point. You got to recover the onside kick. Oh, Jets recover the onside kick. Joe Flacco turns back the clock, touchdown, and then they make the extra point, and Jets win it 31-30. Browns choked this one away. There's nothing about it. The Browns blew this for sure. But also Joe Flacco, 26 of 44, 307 yards, 4 touchdowns. Thanks mostly to Garrett Wilson, 8 catches, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has looked really good for them early. Jets stole this one for sure from the Browns. Browns absolutely choked, and there's that Browns heartbreak that they haven't seen in a while, and here it comes again.
Yeah, so great comeback for the Jets. I have no issue with Nick Chubb scoring that touchdown, honestly. Like, if I'm a head coach, you're up 13. Obviously, it hit the fan when you left Corey Davis wide open. If you cover him, they win this game by 13. I'm sure of it. So, and then obviously not getting the onside kick, which is with the things that I've seen from the Browns fans, you saw that picture of like the mannequin out front, all that kind of stuff. Like, you know what? I'm glad the Jets beat them.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. They deserve it. And you know what? If they go into when they finally get the Deshaun Watson back, if they're 2-9, I will sleep happily.
Yeah.
Because they'll be eliminated from the playoffs. And you know what? That's more suffering for him and that franchise. So
Agreed.
I'm fine with it. And Joe Flacco, elite.
Elite, absolutely. He turned back the clock to 2012.
Yeah, look phenomenal. You know, if this is it, if he only plays a couple more games and he's done, hey, he had one great comeback for Flacco. Lions and Commanders. Lions really dominated this one, 36-27. Jared Goff threw 4 touchdown passes. Amon-Ra St. Brown was the leading rusher for the Lions, 2 carries, 68 yards. Also had 9 catches, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aiden Hutchinson had 3 sacks in the first half. Lions putting it together quickly. You like to think. You don't think this is going to – I mean, didn't take them, 6 weeks to get their first win or whatever? It took them 2.
Right.
And looked really good against the Commanders. And this might be a pretty good – this is going to be a tough Lions team as always, but this might be a very good this could be a pretty good Lions team, especially with the NFC North kind of being all over the place this year.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. I mean, and Hard Knocks definitely helps that, but they're a fun and competent team, albeit, Jared Goff's very up and down, but they got personality and they got drive with Dan Campbell. I'm not saying build the Dan Campbell statue yet, but I mean, I do like him as a coach, and I think he's done a fantastic job so far. And yeah, they look really good. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the Lions. I hope they do really good all year.
Yeah. Yeah. Carson Wentz did go 30-46, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. That mostly came in the second half when the Commanders got all their points second half. They were down 22-0 before that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, Aiden Hutchinson looks like the real deal too, as well. Very good draft pick for the Lions. Bucks and Saints, tempers flared in this one. Low scoring game early. Bucks scored 20 points in the second half to win at 20-10. And Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore do not like each other. That's well documented, and it happened again. Marshawn said something to Tom Brady. Personally, of course, as a Tom Brady hater, I think he did nothing wrong. But, of course, Mike Evans comes in, defends his quarterback, which you offensive players will do for sure, of course, especially when it's Tom Brady, someone who's been in the league for 20 years or so, and got into it. Mike Evans ejected, Marshawn Lattimore ejected, and just a wild brawl between the two teams. And, after the game, you saw guys who were talking about, Jameis Winston back when he was with the Bucks before Brady got there and making fun of him, Leonard Fournette eating the W on the plane. So this is going to be a really fun rivalry between probably the 2 top teams in this division, but when it's all said and done at the end of the year.
Yeah. And Brady has struggled mightily against the Saints, the past 2 years he's been in Tampa Bay, which has been very odd. But yeah, Mike Evans is a real one. He stuck up for Jameis Winston and knocked Marshawn Lattimore out, and then he stuck up for Brady. So I mean, I'm a big Mike Evans fan, so I like him a lot. Although, albeit he does get suspended for this next game, so that kind of sucks. But Bucks pulled away late, but Brady, the Bucks don't look like world beaters so far. Even though I'm pretty sure they're still obviously they're one of the top favorites to win the Super Bowl. And I think that's just a given because of who the quarterback is, but they don't look the same. And Brady let him have it this week too. He freaking yelled at a bunch of people and shouting obscenities on national TV. Yeah. So,
broke the Microsoft Surface. Come on, Brady.
Yeah, I mean, God bless. These things cost money, man.
Corporate synergy. Come on. Also, Bruce Arians was there for some reason. I'm like, dude, you're retired. Go home. You don't have to be there.
Right.
He went to New Orleans. It wasn't like a Tampa Bay home game. He went to New Orleans. So that's it was a weird game all around, and this tempers flaring. Can't wait for the second time they meet this year in Tampa. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully Mike Evans is not suspended again for that one, and we can get round 2 between them. Panthers and Giants. The Giants are 2-0 for the first time in 6 years. And for the second straight week, the Panthers lose on a 50-yard field goal, and Matt Rule has dropped to 5-16 in one-score games. The Nebraska job's open, Matt. If you want to continue this path, you can go back to the college ranks. It's not the Big 12, but Big 12 area, so you're used to that area. I mean, come on, Matt Rule. Go back home. Go to Nebraska and lose one-score games there.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if the Giants are good. They look competent at least. But like we said, Brian Daboll has kind of changed that offense around, and You saw him do it in Buffalo, and he looks like he's doing it here in New York. And again, don't know if the Giants are going to be good. They may not even make the playoffs, but the first 2 weeks they look confident and they're undefeated. So
yeah, I don't know if the Giants are good either. Barkley didn't have as good of a day as he did in Week 1 against Tennessee, so I would still think that he's still back, but not an amazing game out of Barkley this past Sunday. 21 carries for 70-something yards, but
yeah. So again, we'll just have to keep an eye on the Giants for sure, and then keep an eye on the Panthers, see if how long of a season is going to be for him, and if Matt Rule is going to be done about halfway through the year. Patriots, Steelers. Normally, this is a game I think everybody would watch and back in the past. And then we have Big Ben versus Tom Brady. Now it's Mac Jones against Mitch Trubisky, and didn't live up to any kind of hype. There really wasn't a whole lot of hype to it. Patriots won 17-14. Mac Jones has not looked great.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar had a good game, 6 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Harris, the run back for the Patriots, 15 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Mitch Trubisky starting to get the boos. You're starting to hear the "We Want Kenny" chants for Kenny Pickett after he had a great preseason. I said I think he should have been the starter when he came in. I like Mitch Trubisky. I don't think Mitch Trubisky is a bad quarterback. I just don't know how far he can get you, despite getting the Bears to the playoffs. Now, granted, he did get them there. They didn't do anything when they got there, but he got them there. Yeah, it's an interesting situation in Pittsburgh. I wonder how long that's going to work out. Also, Mac Jones, last year started off great, then fell apart toward the end. Of course, he had that Bills playoff game where he just looked horrible. He may be trying to recover from that. So, I don't know, two teams that normally you sit there, you see this match, you'd be like, oh, this is going to be biggest game of the day. And it was kind of like, it was just another game. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, it was very boring, very underwhelming game. And yeah, I think whoever was to win this game was fortunate to come out with a win, because it could have gone either way, but it was just a very boring, underwhelming game. But props to the Patriots for pulling it out. Steelers, obviously without TJ Watt on the defensive side of the ball, so that definitely hurts. But yeah, this game was very boring.
Yeah, for sure. Next game, Jags beat the Colts 24-0. The Jags have won 8 home games in a row against the Colts. This is their 8th shutout all time for the Jags. 3 of them have been against the Colts in their first one since 2017. Trevor Lawrence had a great game. He went 25 of 30, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. James Robinson had 23 carries, 64 yards, and a touchdown. I have no clue what's up with the Colts, because Matt Ryan ain't the guy right now, because that offense has not done anything really.
Yeah, that offense is not look well. Last week they put up a ton of yards.
Yeah, and they scored at the end, but
just as a whole, it doesn't look very cohesive. And obviously this week was bad, but I don't know what it is about them playing in Jacksonville. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan Taylor only getting 9 carries for 54 yards, and he did not catch a ball. No, he did. He caught 1 ball. So 10 total touches for your best player, possibly the best running back in the league, probably the best running back in the league. So that's never good. Matt Ryan got sacked 5 times through 3 picks. So they got a lot to figure out. I'll be honest with you. They have a lot to figure out, and they play Kansas City this week. So
and their defense, which normally pretty good, one of the tops in the league, usually just got smoked by the Jags, who again, this is Trevor Lawrence rookie year part 2, and he looked like Trevor Lawrence in college in this one.
Yeah. So now, granted, they're still without Shaquille Leonard on defense, and they're also were without Pittman, wide receiver, and also Alec Pierce, their rookie wide receiver.
Yeah.
So obviously having those guys back does make a difference, but still, Jaguars dominated this game. Colts don't look great, further adding to the anomaly that is the AFC South. Jags are out first in that division right now. We haven't talked about the Texans yet, but and think about this. All offseason, this is the Colts / Titans division, and the Colts and the Titans play in week 4
And they could be
And
winless.
you could very well see two winless teams play each other in week 4. And wow.
Yeah, for sure. Dolphins, Ravens, this game was insanity. Ravens got up big, and then the Dolphins scored 28 points in the fourth quarter. Tua Tagovailoa, 36 of 50, 469 yards, 6 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, 11 catches, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. You got to mention Lamar Jackson, too, because he did his job. He played out of his mind. 21-29, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ran 9 times for 119 yards and a touchdown. This was just Madden in real life.
Yeah.
And it was insanity. The speed of Mike McDaniel's offense, he talked about that's what he wanted to do. And with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in that system, Dolphins might be legit contenders for sure, especially after this insane game.
Yeah, they look really good. Tua silenced a lot of his haters. At least for this past Sunday, he played amazing. 6 total touchdowns is something you definitely don't see every day, let alone every year. And Tyreek Hill, great game. Waddle, great game. A heck of a comeback for the Dolphins. I mean, this game was all but over. Lamar Jackson tore it up. Lamar Jackson definitely trying to prove that he deserves more guaranteed money with over 430 total yards from just him. But yeah, and this game started with a bang. It was a freaking it was a kickoff return touchdown from Devin Duvernay that kicked things off, and then Tua threw an interception. So I mean, this game started so well for Baltimore. And we get down to the nitty-gritty. It's 35-14. And a Dolphins touchdown, Ravens turn it over on downs, a Dolphins touchdown, Ravens punt, a Dolphins touchdown. Ties us up at 35. And then a field goal from the Ravens, and then the Dolphins drive it right down 6 plays and score what was the game-winning touchdown. Just an amazing fourth quarter from the Dolphins.
Yeah, insanity. By the way, got out your way to see that Kevin Harlan call that touchdown. He was on on that play. Great. Fantastic from Kevin Harlan. Falcons, Rams. Rams win 31-27. Rams were up 28-3 in this one, and the Falcons almost pulled a reverse Falcons.
Did.
I was like, please do it. But Jalen Ramsey showed up this week and got the pick fourth quarter. That gets the win. Cooper Kupp's done a great game, 11 catches, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Stafford, 27 for 36, 272 yards, 3 touchdowns. But Kupp again had that fumble at the end. You thought, okay, Falcons go in and score, but a pick in the end zone, and the Rams hold on. Another just insane game in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Falcons almost reversed the curse. I'm convinced the only way for them to reverse the curse is to come back from a 28-3 deficit. And gosh, they almost did it, man. It was almost beautiful. And once again, the Falcons are not a good team, but at the same time, I mean, to come back like that, it shows a little bit of grit in this team. And Drake London, the first round wide receiver pick, 8 receptions, 86 yards, and a touchdown. Good for him. The lack of Kyle Pitts is concerning.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith tried to shut that down by just saying, hey, we're out here trying to win a football game. And, well, Arthur, you didn't win a football game, so sorry.
You haven't won one yet, so.
Please, God, I will trade. I might trade Derrick Henry right now to the Falcons for Arthur Smith to come back and I'll trade Derrick Henry and Todd Downing for Arthur Smith to come back and call plays in Tennessee. 100%.
All right, that's a bold statement. Okay. Next game, 49ers, Seahawks. 49ers win 27-7. Jimmy G having to come off the bench. Trey Lance going to be out for the year, a foot injury, just a freak play. Not good for him at all. And now Jimmy G, we all talked about, man, it's weird he's staying there. Glad if you're the 49ers, you're glad you got him still there.
Yeah.
Also has one of the greatest contracts ever because he gets $250,000 bonus if he plays 25% of the game, and then gets another $100,000 if he wins.
Yeah,
so he made $350,000 in just 3 quarters of football the other day. So good for him. 49ers rolled in this one. Geno Smith did not look good in this one. So
no,
don't know if that's just the Broncos or if that's the 49ers defense. Really, neither team looked great at times. Like the Niners handled this one, but it was really not just anything great. But still questions on both sides. But yeah, interesting now. See what Jimmy G can do. See if he can prove that, hey, I'm still the guy here. So
Yeah, for sure.
This one, Cowboys and Bengals. Cooper Rush and Tony Pollard, maybe sending Ezekiel and Dak to Indeed.com to find some new jobs because they look good early. Bengals came roaring back, but then a field goal by the Cowboys wins it 20-17 as time expires. Cooper Rush is 2-0 as a starter for the Cowboys now.
Yep.
So shown you can win games, and now with Dak out for a long time, maybe the Cowboys have got some kind of quarterback. Now, again, we'll have to see because the Bengals don't look good at all. Joe Burrow has been sacked. I think it's 9 times in 2 games or something like that. So
yeah, their new look offensive line looks a lot like last year. So
yeah, and so the man's already lost his appendix. He doesn't need to lose anything else behind that at all. Hasn't won a game without his appendix. So maybe that was the key for the Bengals.
Yeah,
maybe that was it.
Put it back in.
The doctor's got it in a jar somewhere. You just got to shove it back in. And see.
Zach Taylor's on the phone right now. Like, I got to find this freaking appendix. Put it back in right now.
We'll see. Broncos, Texans. This game sucked. This game's bad. The Broncos are horrible, man. They still have not scored a touchdown in the red zone. They had 2 trips. They scored a touchdown this game. It was 23 yards out. They have not scored a touchdown in the red zone. The Texans just exist right now because no one knows what's happened with the Texans. They just kind of exist in the NFL for some reason. And the Broncos, man, Nathaniel Hackett, so many just make a decision if you're going to punt or go for it. That's all you got to do. Like, how does it take you this long to sit there and look at the field and go, we should go for it. By the time you send your punt team out, there's 4 seconds left, and McManus is sprinting out there, trying to figure out what to do. And I don't know if he's like the guy for the job right now because 2 weeks in, he's shown he can't handle clock management whatsoever.
Yeah, he's not great. And after last week's debacle, I wish Houston would have won this game. But Broncos don't look great, I'll be honest with you. And like you said, who really knows about Houston right now? The AFC South is it's bad.
Yeah. So still anybody's division, and that's saying something after what we've seen from the Texans first 2 weeks.
All right.
Cardinals Raiders in overtime. Cardinals win. This game was wild as well. Raiders got up big. Kyler Murray looked like he wasn't doing anything. And then the Cardinals come back. Murray runs about 85 yards on a 2-point conversion and gets it. And then Clemson on Clemson crime. Isaiah Simmons knocks the ball out of Hunter Renfro's hands in OT. Cardinals pick it up, run it back, touchdown, and win it. Wild game. Got a feel for the Raiders. Another game they had a chance to win, and they just could not win it and could not put the Cardinals away.
Yeah, it's a tough one if you're a Raiders fan. Up 20-0 at halftime, blowing that sucks. Props to Kyler Murray. Obviously, a lot of questions on him in the offseason. He did end up getting paid. A lot of things coming out that are kind of maturity issues as far as, the whole double XP weekend thing with COD and how he plays bad.
Yeah.
But he led a fantastic comeback. He's still an extremely dynamic player. The freaking Isaiah Simmons hit on Renfro, 100% Clemson on Clemson crime. Renfro got destroyed. Yeah. And the Cardinals just benefited from the ball bouncing perfect and bang, bang, game over.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting to see the Cardinals again. They don't have Nuke Hopkins out there, so you're trying to find and still haven't really gotten Hollywood Brown to roll with anything yet. So they're still trying to find themselves as an offense right now. So we'll see if that changes in week 6 and Hopkins comes back. Packers and Bears on Sunday night. Aaron Rodgers is still Chicago's daddy. 27-10 win. Rodgers 19-25, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones 15 carries, 132 yards, and a touchdown. Also had a touchdown catch. And then Sammy Watkins turned back the clock. 3 catches, 93 yards. Big-time weapon. You're wondering who's going to step up for Devontae Adams. Alan Lazard really hasn't worked out early in the year. He's kind of struggled. But, man, Sammy Watkins, solid showing. And Packers just beat the Bears, and water is wet.
Yeah, the Bears suck. I hate the Bears. They're very boring. Aaron Rodgers does definitely own you. And never at any point in this game did I think the Bears had a shot.
No. I mean, then, of course, the Packers with the Hayabusa celebration in the end zone and just insanity. And they rolled to that win. Yep. Monday night, the second Monday night game was the Eagles and Vikings. Eagles dominated 24-7. Jalen Hurts, 26 of 31, 333 yards, and a touchdown. I think the Eagles may be legit. There are a lot of people high on them early in the year. I think after the first 2 weeks, despite almost blowing against the Lions, they still finished that one off, and then also finished off the Vikings. But also Kirk Cousins. It's Kirk Cousins in prime time. 2-10 in Monday Night Football games now. So.
Yeah, if this game was at 1:00 on a Sunday, it would have been a fantastic game.
Yeah,
but too bad it was at 8:30 on a Monday. So
yeah,
and Jalen Hurts playing amazing football.
Yeah. And then Darius Slay for the Eagles blocked down Justin Jefferson, 1 catch for 5 yards when he was on Jefferson.
That's wild too.
Played 2 picks and 2 pass breakups as well. That was a master class for sure.
Yes.
So moving on to week 3, and we'll talk about our teams real quick. I'll talk first about Bills-Dolphins. That's a big-time game down in Miami. First division game for the Bills. First Sunday game for the Bills, too, which is wild to see that. Got to go to Miami, which the Bills have done well in Miami in the past, but, it's always weird. It's early in the year. It's hot down there. It's going to be 86 degrees and probably very humid down in Miami. Bills are picked to win by 5.5, over under 53.5. I would not be surprised if this is a high scoring game with the offense. And again, you saw Tyreek Hill last year in the playoffs against the Bills defense without Trey White. Was on Jordan Poyer. He carved him up, scored the touchdown. That gave him the lead toward the end. Of course, the Bills came back, scored, and then 38 seconds. I don't want to hear it. Tied the game, and then Chiefs won it. So Bills know that know who's on the other side. It's Tyreek Hill. Granted, I don't think Tua is as good as a quarterback as Patrick Mahomes, but he still looked good so far.
Yeah, I agree.
But the Bills did shut him down 2 years ago, and Dolphins all they need to do is win, get to the playoffs. Went to Buffalo, Grant rookie year Tua, and the Bills second string basically played that entire game because the Bills already locked up the 2 seed. And went in there and shut down the Dolphins offense and rolled to the victory. Again, different circumstances late in the year, away game, I get it. But, Bills have shown they can shut down Tua. But now with more weapons, with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and still Mike Gesicki still there.
Yeah.
Chance for, there's a lot more weapons to deal with. But Dolphins defense hasn't looked great either. And Bills with Stephon Diggs, probably getting Gabe Davis back. I think he's more up to probable this week now, which is good. So, that will be a back and forth game. I think, would not be surprised to see if that's a very high scoring game on Sunday.
Yeah, this could be a fantastic game that I am very, 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 very excited to watch. Bills do look like the best team in the NFL, but the Dolphins really just showed all their offensive firepower last week. So they're going to need every bit of it against this Bills defense. But this one should be a fantastic game. And talk about Tennessee. Tennessee coming back home from Buffalo. We have a home game against the Oakland Raiders, another desperate team who is also 0-2. I'm sick of beating the dead horse of telling you all what Tennessee needs to do. I think at this point we all know what Tennessee needs to do, and right now it's just find a freaking offensive identity, find something that works. And this is, it's not, but it definitely is a must-win game. If you're Tennessee, you have to win this game. Mm-hmm. Tennessee plays this has this game against the Raiders, and then it does lighten up a little bit with Indianapolis, Washington, Indianapolis, Houston. So you win this game, string something together, you could salvage something. I'm not necessarily betting on it, but I mean, we just got to see some offensive identity out of Tennessee. And also, the defense has got to settle in. The defense has not been great. Definitely missed Christian Fulton last week. So not sure of the status of him. And also Bud Dupree. I mean, good God, we just got to get people healthy and hopefully have a fantastic week of practice with whoever's going to strut out at left tackle. So this is a must-win game for Tennessee. Like if Tennessee loses this game, it's only 3 games in. I know there's 14 more games, but God, an 0-3 hole is almost a death sentence. So
that would be definitely tough to get out of. Interesting to see what the Raiders can do, because the Raiders go to 0-3 hole in their division. That might be a death sentence for them too.
Yes,
so
that is true.
These are 2 very desperate teams going at each other early in the season. This week in the NFL, Thursday night game, Steelers at the Browns. Good rivalry contest, but Cody Brissett versus Mitch Trubisky right now, so expecting a low-scoring game in that one. Interesting to see what the Steelers do at quarterback. Maybe Kenny Pickett gets a chance of how short the leash is on Trubisky. See about that. This one, man, Texans Bears. Aren't you excited for that one?
Oh my God! Shoot me to the sun. Yuck.
Disgusting.
I don't want to see any part of this game, honestly. I don't want to watch a single second.
Yeah. If it comes on Red Zone, just change the channel. Just change the channel.
This is 100% going to be one of those games where
they show like twice.
Scott Hansen flips back and forth between the Colts and the Bills and the Titans, and then he's going to be like, "Oh yeah, we haven't shown you the Bears game in a while. That's because nothing's happening."
Here's a punt. That's what we got so far.
Yeah.
Chiefs Colts. Coming into the year, you probably thought, "Oh, this is a big game for the Colts." Well, now you're trying to avoid going 0-2-1, and you're playing a Chiefs team that still looks good, and that's going to be, again, no desperate team in the Colts.
Because, like it's not as desperate as Tennessee, because I guess, I mean, things could get very weird with the Colts having that tie.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not a game that I think anybody really at this point is expecting the Colts to win. But this is a game that they need to have a good showing, because they go Chiefs and then Tennessee comes to town, which I'm not saying that obviously Tennessee's so much better than them, but if they lose this game, it's going to be desperation time for both of these teams, Tennessee and Indianapolis, the next week. So, they need to have a good showing. Yeah,
for sure. Lions Vikings. This game last year was, of course, Lions thought they're going to get their first win. Vikings go down 3 plays, score a field goal, win the ball game. Craziness these last 2 times teams met. Lions a lot better against Kirk Cousins at 1:00 in the afternoon, so he might show up this week. So interesting game. Could be a really fun game as well between those two in the division. Ravens Patriots, again, normally we'd sit there and go, this is a great anticipated game, but I feel like the Patriots are just the most boring team in football right now without Tom Brady.
Yes, I agree.
There's really nothing to talk about. Mac Jones hasn't done anything big or extravagant, so come to watch Lamar Jackson, see what he can do as well. He's still exciting. So
it'll be
Patriots
the
defense,
Lamar Jackson show.
Yeah, but Patriots defense has shown they're good, so we'll see.
Yep.
Bengals and Jets last year. This is when Mike White became a god when he was the quarterback of the Jets for 2 weeks. This time, will Joe Flacco do that and send the Bengals to 0-3, the defending AFC champs?
All right, now if you're Cincinnati, you have to win this game. You absolutely have to win this game.
Yeah, you gotta go in and handle business, or you're in a deep hole. Eagles Commanders, the Carson Wentz Memorial Trophy game. As Wentz now starting against the team he won the Super Bowl with, and Jalen Hurts looks to keep it rolling. Early division matchup should be another fun one. Saints Panthers coming back home. If they lose on a 50-yard field goal again, it's going to be depressing in Charlotte, because they've lost 2 games on 50-yard field goals. Just absolutely depressing. Again, you never know which Jameis Winston you're going to get, so you kind of have a chance. But man, it's Yeah, it's weird times for the Panthers. But again, I mean, Matt Rule, come on down to Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska's waiting for you, baby.
Yep. 4:00 games. Jags at the Chargers. You figure the Chargers should handle business, but Justin Herbert kind of banged up.
Yep.
Questionable right now. And the same doctor that hurt Tyrod Taylor is working on Justin Herbert. One, how does this man still have a job?
Yes.
And two, why is he near your quarterback again, as you saw happen the last time he was near a Chargers quarterback?
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
this is a big game for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, we'll see if he can build on his great performance from last week. And this would be, if they can pull the upset, it'd be a massive win. And could be a tone setter for the Jaguars season, but we'll see.
Yep. Rams at Cardinals, NFC West matchup should be a really good one. You saw Kyler Murray and Cardinals pull out against the Raiders last week. Rams had to hold on and knock out the Falcons. They got two teams who played some wild games, but see what they can do against each other. Rams have really dominated that rivalry the past few years. So interesting to see if the Rams keep that up.
Yep.
Falcons at Seahawks.
Ew.
Disgusting.
Yuck.
Disgusting game.
At 425. I mean, I know it's in Seattle, but oh god, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that stinks. Falcons got to go all the way across the country for that one. If it's Geno Smith and Marcus Mariota duking it out. Interesting game for sure. Packers and Bucks. This would normally is probably going to be a good game. Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady, but no Mike Evans for the Bucks. Wonder who's going to step up for the Packers. Will Sammy Watkins have another good game? Is Aaron Jones the guy? Will Alan Lazard finally get something going? Yeah, who knows? And who's going to step up? Will it be some of the newer receivers for the Bucks that stepped up in this one? But should be a fun game.
Yeah, I agree.
Then Sunday Night Football, 49ers and Broncos. Russell Wilson against Jimmy G. Always had fun matches between them and the 49ers and Seahawks. This one could be a fun one. Jerry Jeudy questionable, though, for the Broncos. And interesting to see. Broncos in prime time. Everybody's eyes are on you again. Nathaniel Hackett, if you screw up again, everybody's going to talk about it for sure this week. Then Monday Night Football. Oh, it's Joe Buck and calling a Dallas Cowboys game. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought it?
We were going to get away from this. We are no longer America's game of the week, dominated by the Cowboys. Nope, Monday Night Football, Cowboys Giants with Joe Buck. Knew it was going to happen. I mean, see if the Giants can go to 3-0, and see if Cooper Rush can keep the Cowboys afloat for right now. But
yeah.
No part of me is excited for this game.
No, I'm definitely not. I mean, just Cowboys, Giants is bad enough, and you throw Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in the mix, and I'm out, dog.
Yeah, I'm living in Texas, and oh boy, the Cowboys fans. They're here.
I bet.
Because the thing is about Lubbock, it's a quick lesson. A lot of people move from Dallas to Lubbock because they don't want to be in Dallas, and of course, what are they? They're all Cowboys fans. So. Yeah. There you go. That's my life right now. Yeah. Wish the Bills played them on Thanksgiving again. I would totally be there in a heartbeat, so I can.
Yeah.
They would win, but they play in Detroit instead. But these two teams play on Thanksgiving too, so that's going to be interesting to experience Thanksgiving in Texas with the Cowboys play. So.
Right.
Intrigued about that. Well, that's the NFL for you. Let's go to college football. Waffle, start with you because. You don't have much to say, is what you told me before we started recording about this one. Georgia, South Carolina, and it was what you expect from Georgia and South Carolina this year. Georgia wins 48-7. Stetson Bennett, 10-23, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brock Bowers, the tight end, 5 catches, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had a rushing touchdown. Georgia, I don't know who's beating Georgia, and South Carolina just could not stop this machine that is the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, short and sweet. Georgia is very good. I didn't learn a single thing about South Carolina. Didn't really see any positives that I could take away and build on. Um, yeah, that's it. We lost bad.
Yeah. That,
And yeah,
yeah,
next.
that's really it. I mean, you can't say a whole lot. South Carolina scored a touchdown with 50 seconds left with their backup quarterback in the back fourth string defense out there for Georgia. So I mean, first team to score a touchdown in Georgia this year. You're better than
Yeah.
Oregon. You're better than Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, we also held Georgia less points than Oregon gave up. So I mean, if you're a man who puts a lot of stock into that, which I am,
you're better than Oregon.
One thing I will say one thing, just to clarify, I am holding my opinions on Spencer Rattler until these next two games. South Carolina plays Charlotte and then plays South Carolina State, and then we go to Kentucky. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I will go out and say right now, has Spencer Rattler wowed me? No, obviously not. It's not been just amazing. But it's been 3 games, and 2 of those are against what are now top 10 teams. I give him a pass. We play Charlotte. We play South Carolina State. Obviously, if he stinks it up during these next 2 games, the pessimism is going to be at an all-time high. But I'm holding my tongue for right now. Hopefully Carolina can work some kinks out coming up. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's basically all you gotta say about that one. Knew that's going in, and it happened. So move on to Clemson and Louisiana Tech. Clemson wins at 48-20. This is a game 13-6 at halftime because Clemson, once again, first 2 drives on offense looked phenomenal. First drive stalled out in the red zone. Second drive, Will Shipley powers it in for a touchdown. It's 10-0. Clemson, weird play. They get a blocked field goal, and then they fumble it. Barrett Carter fumbles the return, and Louisiana Tech gets another chance, gets a field goal. Clemson gets a field goal, but Clemson kind of stalls out 13-6 at halftime, and then Clemson, big third quarter, 21 points in the third quarter, and then toward the end of the game, they put the second string in, and K. Klubnik did the second string do nothing. Louisiana Tech scores twice to 14-point game. Will Shipley goes back in, runs all over Louisiana Tech. Clemson pulls away and wins at 48-20. I'll say, I think Clemson, again, this is one of those, again, talent took over. Clemson was just better than Louisiana Tech's best players. Louisiana Tech's in a weird hole. The first-year coach, Sonny Cumbie, got a lot of guys who transferred out. Did bring in a lot of new transfers. I think 22 transfers, what I heard. But again, that's a lot of new faces you got to work with who haven't been in Ruston as long as some of these players. And again, Louisiana Tech's all the games were against Missouri where they didn't look good either, and they played, I think, Abilene Christian or some FCS team, and they won. So you don't know a whole lot about them. And of course, Clemson, of course, unfortunately, about Brian Brissy, about the issues, his sister passing away from brain cancer, and he did return to the team yesterday. Funeral was, as recording time today, so expected to play against Wake Forest. We'll have to see. But also Clemson, Sheridan Jones got hurt against Louisiana Tech. So you got 2 freshman corners having to get meaningful playing time. And against Louisiana Tech, you can kind of handle that because, of course, they run a lot of short passes. They don't have any guys who are going to game break you. But, that's just interesting stuff to watch out for. Xavier Thomas still out, but Adam Randall came in, looked good. And then you have the freshman from Irmo, Antonio Williams, caught his first touchdown pass, and it was an absolute dime from DJ Uyunglele. And, I think DJ has earned this starting job because he goes 17-29, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, runs 9 times for 62 yards. Did he look perfect? No, he did not. He had a bad throw in the third quarter that should have been picked off. He had some high throws. Hasn't looked great, but he looks way better than last year. And again, I get it. It's Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech may win 4 games this year. I get it. It was Furman. Furman, good FCS team, FCS team. Georgia Tech is a whole nother issue there. Probably one of the worst Power 5 teams in football. Hasn't really played anybody great, but man, if Clemson ever puts together a full game on offense and defense, it's the same Clemson as the past 10, 12 years because when that third quarter was what Clemson's looked like for the past 10 years under Dabo Swinney. Defense got 3 turnovers. Offense scored off of them quickly. So that's what Clemson's look like with the playmakers. They don't really have that right now. They're kind of banged up on defense. Of course, personal issues as well with Brian Bresee out. Weird game. I think Clemson's fine. And again, you can do this against a team like Louisiana Tech. Clemson's able to win this game. Will Shipley is the big story for me. He is finally getting going again. 12 carries, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 11.6 yards on the ground. Phil Maffa got rolling a bit toward the end. Kobe Pace I didn't use as much, but I was kind of disappointed in. I thought he would kind of emerge as that third running back for Clemson, but he really wasn't out there a whole lot. But, Clemson doesn't have that big receiver, I don't think. Now, Antonio Williams, they want to be that guy. Joseph Ngata had a good game. And Bo Collins and Brandon Spector, those are your top 4 receivers in this one. Mm-hmm. Davis Allen had a catch out of tight end. Jake Bruningstool, tight end catch. Adam Randall only had 1 catch for 11 yards. So he's still trying to get back after he tore his ACL like 4 months ago, and he's back. So that's just wild, first of all. Still questions, I think, for sure. But I think you're feeling a lot better about this team than you were at this time last year, if you're a Clemson fan. Because there are flashes. Last year, this time, every game was like 17-10 or 21-20, and you're praying your defense can get a stop. This time, you've scored, other than scoring 28, you scored 48, and you scored 41. So, yeah, I think Uyunglele's won this job because Cade Klubnik last 2 weeks, again, with the second string, and I get maybe if he had more playmakers out there, he'd do better. But he's come out and done nothing. So it's just frustrating. I think it's more frustrating. And it's also one of those where, and I don't want to be the pessimistic Clemson fan on Twitter, but everybody, week 1, every time GJ did something wrong, he breathed wrong. People were picking it apart left and right. And Kay Klubnik comes in, throws that touchdown pass. Everybody's going crazy. Quiet on Twitter the last 2 weeks when Klubnik's come out and got a 3-and-out against Furman, 3-and-out against Louisiana Tech, and then got 1 first down against Louisiana Tech the second drive. It's just baffling the hypocrisy everybody's trying to make excuses for Klubnik, but when DJ goes out there and all messes up, it's like, well, DJ should have made that throw. It's like, he's got 4 defenders in his face because the O-line hasn't been blocking well, which they had, and they blocked well in this game, 11.6 yards rush for Will Shipley. It's just kind of the hypocrisy is annoying about it, and so I don't want to be a Kay Klubnik hater. I think the guy's going to be great, and I think he's going to have a great career at Clemson. And when it's in there, I think DJ's your guy right now, though, because he's gone out there and, for better or worse, has gotten the job done and has gotten better every week. And these last 2 weeks we said were growing weeks for Clemson, and they grew. And hopefully they can take that into a big game against Wake Forest this weekend.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with everything that you said. I think that Clemson, albeit a little bit of a shaky first half, settled in the third quarter and turned it into what we thought it would have been. So I thought that DJ looked fine and was, good. Like you said, not perfect, but didn't have to be. At the end of the day, you're 3-0 and you are heading into obviously 2 tough games the next couple of weeks when you go into Wake Forest this week, but I think there's a lot of good stuff to build on there. The offensive line, like you said, looked better. Shipley ran really well. If they can establish that run game, that's going to do wonders for them as the season goes on. Clemson looked good, and I think overall you're fine. Did want to mention one thing. I didn't know if you were going to mention it or not, but for Sonny Cumbie, from La Tech, with the whole thing about Brian Bresee's sister, they wrote the personalized notes from every player to the Bresee family, which was great. That's a class act, and I know you feel the same as me like that. I'm a fan for life for Sonny Cumbie. That's a very, very, very nice gesture they had. Nothing but class.
It's kind of cool. I read an article. The Sonny Cumbie had his radio show the other night. They kind of explained that. He brought his punter with him, and his punter actually talked about, I think his sister passed away from the same type of cancer about 8 years ago. And so he said the punter said he wanted to reach out. He told the team his story. And at pregame dinner on the Friday night, when they got to South Carolina, Sonny Cumbie told him, he's like, you don't have to write a letter, but it'd mean a whole lot if you do. And the entire team wrote him. Cumbie wore the Ella Strong shirt pregame. Dabo didn't know he was going to do that. And Sonny Cumbie got a shirt, asked Clemson for a shirt, got one from the equipment manager. And he told him, he's like, no, that's a big deal. So Sonny Cumbie, class act. I know he's got a tough task at Louisiana Tech. I hope they give him a chance because he seems like a great guy.
And I'll be pulling for him.
Yeah, and that's a tough job. Ruston's the middle of nowhere. They got hit by a tornado a couple of years ago that kind of destroyed everything there. It's a tough job. But man, I hope Sonny Cumbie does a good job there. I'll be pulling for him for sure for that. He's got a lifelong fan for life. Class act by Louisiana Tech. And what was a very tough week in Clemson for the football team for sure. And also for DJ, who is Brian Bercy's roommate, that was tough for him too. For him coming out there. He did well. So still thoughts and prayers to the Bercy family. If Bercy comes back this week, right now he's supposed to. He came back to the team Monday. Funeral was on Tuesday. And then I think he was going to come back to the team this week. So, but again, if he doesn't play, I mean, no one's going to blame him if he doesn't play. There's way more important things than a game against Wake Forest. No one cares. So, so we'll go through college football this week, just some games of note. I'll start off with Duke beats North Carolina A&T 49-20. And then you go down and you see, okay, well, why are we talking about Duke being North Carolina A&T? Feel like that happens. Well, Duke's 3-0 now.
3-0, baby.
Interesting. And who's also 3-0? The team Duke plays this week, the Fighting Kansas Jayhawks, come from behind and beat Houston on the road 48-30. So now undefeated Duke and undefeated Kansas in Lawrence this week.
Yes, sir.
College game day is not going to be there because they're scared of fun.
Cowards.
Well, they went to Boone this week, which is fun, but still, they're cowards. They're cowards.
Yeah. So
they go to UT and Tennessee and Florida, which is whatever, fine, sure.
Yeah.
But no, very excited for Duke. I think Duke looks really good on defense, especially Mike Elko. Kansas, Jalen Daniels is a fun quarterback, man. They look competent. Lance Leopold, who really turned Buffalo around. He was there with when Khalil Mack was there and kind of built them up, and they're pretty good. And now with Kansas, Lance Leopold.
I saw some graphic. I don't know who it was or what necessarily was the details of the whole thing, but it was basically a chart of offensive efficiency in college football, and Kansas is like top 5 in offensive efficiency, which is just wild to think about because obviously they've been so bad for so many years since 2007, their last great season.
Yeah.
And it's been a long rebuild, and even Les Miles couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. And they set up a massive game for both programs. And for Duke, I don't think anybody would have predicted Duke to start 3-0, no matter who it was against.
Yeah.
Because the state of that Duke football program has 80% of the time been awful since 2000. With the exception of like 2010 to 2014, things started to turn around when Cutcliffe finally got some things going, and then obviously that fizzled out, and it was time to move on from him. But I'm excited. I'm excited for Duke. I'm excited for Kansas. I'm gonna be tuned all the way into that game.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of fun. I think if Kansas wins, it'll be their first season in 13 years with 4 wins. They have not won more than 3 games in 13 years, which is insane. So good for Kansas, good for Duke for sure. LSU beats Mississippi State 31-16. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to win this game. Mm-hmm. Stupid game. This is always a stupid game. State stupid in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
LSU comes back to win it. That's really all I need to know about that one. Michigan beats UConn 59-0. Michigan played the worst non-conference schedule of all time.
Yes.
They played, if you don't know, they played Colorado State, who has a new coach, and they are horrible. UConn, and they played Hawaii, who might be the worst FBS team in America right now.
Yeah, Hawaii's bad.
Because everybody transferred out of there. So Hey, if you're Michigan, you got 3 wins, but you played nobody. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to get training early in the year, sure, go ahead. But
Yeah.
yeah. Oklahoma beats Nebraska 49-14. Nebraska was up 7-0 in this game, and I was like, man, they turned it around after firing Scott Frost. No, Oklahoma came back in a hurry, and oh boy, no one-score game here between these
No.
2 teams. Yikes. Nebraska, it's going to be a long year. Some of them weren't Urban Meyer. No, don't do it.
Please, God. I already don't have a lot of respect for you, but if you do that, it's all out the door, bro.
Yeah. USC handles Fresno State 45-17. Caleb Williams, real deal, 25-37, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Really handled Jake Hayner, kind of kept him in check. So USC looks really good this season. Arkansas beats Missouri State 38-27. They had to score 21 points in the fourth quarter to win this in the Bobby Petrino revenge game.
Yeah, because of course they did after beating Carolina like they did the week prior. They're going to struggle with Missouri State. So by the transitive property, South Carolina is a better football team than Oregon, but also worse than Missouri State. So do with that information what you will, because it's running circles in my head.
Washington beats Michigan State 39-28. Michael Penix Jr. is back, folks. 24-40, 397, 4 touchdowns. First of all, RG3's out of pocket every single week he gets on the mic. We got to talk about
God bless. He was already bad enough. Like, I just watching games with him broadcasting, he always tries to make too many jokes and try to be too relatable. And now this year, he's pulled out the words orgy, and he's used big Penix injury. I mean,
energy.
Big Penix energy. My God, I couldn't get that out. And yeah, bro, like just give it a rest. Please stop.
The first touchdown of this game, I turned this on. First touchdown of the game, he says, "Oh, Penix slides it in there with the penetration." I was like, "Dog, you gotta stop! It is the first quarter of this game. It is the first quarter. This is a 3-hour game. No."
Side note, I'm out on Michigan State, bro. I try every year. Like, I really do like Michigan State, and I loved D'Antonio when he was there.
Yep.
But God, I can't. Michigan State's not that good.
No.
I'm not taking anything away from Washington. Penix was great, but
every year Michigan State gets hyped up, and then it's just like, nope, they go play somebody good.
Yeah, they disappoint, and they beat Michigan last year. And then it fell apart.
Yep. Oregon knocks off BYU 41-20. So South Carolina better than BYU.
Yeah, amazing. I mean,
hey, here's the one good Bo Nix game. Here you go. Here's the Bo Nix game.
Enjoy it, Eugene.
13 of 18, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Also ran 9 times, 35 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns for Bo Nix. BYU, the Mormons. Yikes. That's a bad look, BYU, especially after knocking off Baylor.
I know, not what I expected at all.
To go do that against Oregon, that's surprising. Texas A&M and Miami. Texas A&M went 17-9. This game was boring.
This game sucked.
Yeah, and then Mario Cristobal all year. Everybody's talking about, he's going to bring in these analytics, game changer, all this stuff. 17-3 in the fourth quarter. He kicks a field goal on 4th and goal.
Yeah.
Miami was not playing to win this game at all.
Miami #not back, which I think I told we knew it. We said it.
Yep.
It's only one loss. It's still a long time before they play Clemson, but they're gonna have 3 or 4 losses before that Clemson game. Book it.
Yep.
They're not back. They're not good.
Not back at all yet. And Texas A&M does nothing exciting every single week, because that's Jimbo Fisher. The most boring team. I hate both of these teams so much.
I honestly do too. I hate Texas A&M for obvious reasons. South Carolina's never beaten them, and Miami overall I like. My dad was a very big Miami fan and used to watch games with him like from back in the 2000s. Like, I love that Miami swagger from the 80s and the early 2000s. But God bless, ever since Randy Shannon took over, it's just been a dumpster fire in Miami, and it's fun to watch them be bad. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. NC State beats Texas Tech 27-14. NC State's offense does not look as good as everybody thought they would, but their defense looks very good. So
yeah, their defense is good, and that's keeping them looking like a top 15 team. So
yeah, but man, NC State's cursed. I'm waiting for that one game where they slip up, and I hope it's Clemson. I hope they come into Clemson undefeated, and Clemson beats them 42-0 like the last time they came to Clemson undefeated, and I will be cheering all the way from Lubbock, Texas in that game if that happens. But who knows? Without good defense, that could be a very good game in a couple of weeks. But of course, Clemson got to get over this hump this week in Wake Forest.
Prayers out to the Texas Tech kid.
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
Sanchez was his last name.
One of the that might be
one of the worst.
The worst one since Kevin Ware.
Yeah.
It was bad, and now ever since the Kevin Ware broke his leg against Duke, I feel like it became so normal to see legs break. Paul George did it, and there's a handful of others, but like this one was bad. If you were unlucky enough to see it, bone exposed on national TV, not great. Prayers for that kid because he definitely needs it.
Yeah, NC State class act though. I will say NC State don't like him, but they did send him. Everybody on the team did sign a banner for him and send it to him. He was still in the hospital in Raleigh. I think he flew home today, I believe. And I think Dave Doran did go by to see him, and I think one of the NC State players went by to see him too. So we'll say that as class act. Still don't like Dave Doran, still don't like NC State, but props to them for doing that, and hope he gets better soon for sure. South Florida and Florida. Florida wins 31-28. South Florida had every chance to win this game and just blew it. And at the very end, the kicker on a ball that was on the ground kicked it and almost made a 50-yard field goal.
Yes, my God. If you go back and watch that, it is a miracle he was able to even keep that any shred of close.
Yeah, I think it was Spencer Hall and Shutdown Fullcast said that was the most effort we ball move of all time. But the kicker just kicking it, and then he almost made it to send that game to OT. So and that was a game also where South Florida played before was in the 20-yard line, and a botch snap backed them up 15 yards. So
and then on the other side, Florida. Oh God, Florida don't look good, and that's it. God, the Anthony Richardson Heisman. Man, that crashed and burned.
Yeah. We've heard of September Heisman. That might be the first week one Heisman I think I've ever heard of because
he's literally like it's the exact same thing as Kenny Trill from Texas A&M back in 2014. 100%, 100%, the exact same thing.
I still like. Oh man, that's funny. By the way, speaking of Florida's week one opponent, they beat Utah. Utah since then has a 73-7 win over Southern Utah and a 35-7 win over San Diego State. They have been angry since then. So
yes, they have.
They are taking out all aggression. I pray for the Pac-12. Wake Forest beats Liberty 37-6. Liberty tries to go for 2 in the win. I don't respect Liberty, but I respect that decision at least. But crazy game. Wake Forest got up by a touchdown. Liberty, a crazy catch to get there and get into scoring position. They do score, but Wake Forest able to get the win. Sam Hartman, 26-44, 325, 3 touchdowns. But if you're watching, if you're Clemson, you got to be wondering, okay, this Wake Forest defense still not great.
Yeah, it's suspect. I'll be honest with you.
So that gotta be thinking, gotta feel pretty good. And again, this is without Malik Willis. Liberty's quarterback, I don't think is as good as Malik Willis was. So that's gotta be interesting for sure. Ole Miss beats Georgia Tech 42-0. First of all, Georgia Tech wore the most abomination of a jersey a uniform I've ever seen. 3 different golds, trying to go for the old school gold look that Calvin Johnson wore. That looked cool back then when it was Russell, but man, Adidas goes out there with the 3 different golds.
Yeah, it looks bad. It's so
awful.
Bad.
And Jeff Collins, man, your leash is short because Scott Frost is gone, and there's one other Power 5 coach gone already that we'll get to in a little bit. And looking at Georgia Tech's schedule, I don't know where I see another win. To be perfectly honest with you.
I don't know. They're bad, dude.
Yeah, it's rough there. Texas beats UTSA 41-20. Had to pull away late. UTSA is going to be a team that's going to give everybody their best game.
Yeah, they're tough.
They're a tough team. This one they lost pretty bad in the second half. They are a couple plays away from really being 2-1 because they should have kind of chance to beat Houston and then beat Army. So interesting to see. Penn State beats Auburn 41-12 in Auburn.
Auburn is bad.
Yeah, did not expect this, but man, Auburn looked real bad in this one, which means they're going to beat Alabama because a bad Auburn always beats Alabama, it seems like.
Always. It's always the game. It blows my mind, bro. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Bad, desperate Auburn finds a way to either beat or come close to beating Alabama, and this is a bad, desperate team. And Brian Harsin also on the hot seat for multiple reasons, and now this is not making it better. So,
no, it's not.
Interesting to see what happens there. Southern Illinois beats Northwestern 31-24. Remember when Northwestern beat Nebraska? Yeah.
Yeah.
Since then, they lost to Duke and Southern Illinois, so not going well for Pat Fitzgerald. Syracuse and Purdue. Syracuse wins 32-29. This game was 10-9 entering the fourth quarter, and then all the offense happened.
Yes.
Garrett Schrader went off. Aiden O'Connell went off. There were multiple penalties where I think at one point Purdue was kicking off from their own 10 and Syracuse was kicking off from Purdue's 40 or something like that at one point.
Yeah, it was rather odd. It was very bad.
This game is dumb, but man, maybe we need to start talking about Syracuse for, got a big win over a pretty good Purdue team, and Garrett Schrader looks good. Sean Tucker, he was not pleased. He was not pleased this week. Didn't have a good game for sure, but he's happy his team won, but he's not pleased. And I want to tackle an angry Sean Tucker when he's not pleased.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Interesting to see what Syracuse does. I mean, everybody was counting Dino Babers out because once he really lost kind of his best players that year, they beat Clemson and almost beat Clemson. They kind of took a nosedive, and now with Garrett Schrader and kind of rebounded. So Dino Babers off the hot seat for now. Looks good early this year. Indiana beats Western Kentucky 33-30. Indiana, I think, has played three of the stupidest games of all time this year and has won all of them.
Indiana's just a stupid team. I mean,
did you see the Hail Mary at the end of the first half where like four people ran to the field goal post?
Yes, I saw
that was hilarious. The players kept running back and back, and all four of them ran to the post.
Yeah.
But yeah, Indiana's undefeated. Sure.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. Weird team. UCLA, South Alabama. South Alabama should have won this game. UCLA wins 32-31. South Alabama ran the worst fake field goal attempt of all time in this game. Chance to really ice it. You're up 31. I think they're at 31-29. You kick a field goal and make it. You're up 34-29. You have to force UCLA to kick a field goal. And then they run a fake, and they spread everyone out wide, and the quarterback's in shotgun. And remember, the kicker is out wide.
Yeah.
And the quarterback snaps it, and then he doesn't know what to do because nobody blocks. So he runs around and loses about 15 yards. Well, then UCLA has like 3 plays, go down, kick a field goal, win. What was the plan, South Alabama? What was the
plan? There was no plan. That was the plan. But luckily this game was broadcast on, what was this? Was this game on
Pac-12?
It was the Pac-12 network, so nobody saw it.
Yeah.
And then UCLA also had 45 people in the stands. So I petition UCLA should not get to play in the Rose Bowl ever again. Like, that should not be their home stadium. They should just go play in a field next to the stadium.
Yeah. They get to play in the parking lot, and then once people show up, that's when you get the build up to play in the stadium.
Right.
So, stupid game, weird game, but sure. Rutgers beats Temple 16-14. Rutgers undefeated.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Let's go with that.
Undefeated, but worse than Duke because Duke shut out Temple. So
yeah. Temple's quarterback, EJ Warner, that is the son of Kurt Warner. Did not know that until
nice.
the other day. So he's a freshman there. So interesting. We had two 16-14 games. Virginia beat Old Dominion 16-14. First of all, that's a weird score. Second of all, Virginia found a way to do what Virginia Tech couldn't. So props to them.
I mean, props to them for that. And I know they're happy about that, but still.
Yeah.
Not pretty, but it is year one of oh God, what's his name? Head coach. Clemson.
Tony Elliott, yeah.
Tony Elliott. Yeah, that's
it. Yeah, you gotta win. So they gotta play Syracuse this week, so that'll be interesting to see what happens in that one. Notre Dame beats Cal 24-17 thanks to a Hail Mary. It hit two people's hands for Cal, and they couldn't catch it in the end zone.
I know.
Notre Dame, yikes. Not looking good.
Yeah, it's not great. I really like Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, but it does me joy to see Notre Dame suffering right now. Though.
Always. I will never ever pull for Notre Dame, but I will say with this, their uniforms as well. Look, the green jersey, I love the green jersey, but the helmet's amazing. Notre Dame's helmet's iconic. It's one of the best of all time. But the pants didn't match the helmet, and it ruined the uniform. But then I got to thinking, I was watching the game with a couple friends, and we got to talking like, what color pants could they wear to make that uniform look good? And I don't really know if they have a colored pants that's going to make that uniform look great. Because if you wear
green pants,
if you wear the golds, obviously it looks like that, and it's not great. If you wear the greens, I don't.
That's a little
I just don't know how that's going to work. It's going to be a lot. If you wear the navies, and if you wear white, it's still three colors, and it's white pants with a colored helmet and a colored jersey, and I hate that.
Yeah.
So love the green jersey, but I don't know. They just need to. I don't know.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, for sure.
They would have to change the helmet, and you can't do that. It's iconic.
Yeah. Tulane goes into Manhattan and beats Kansas State 17-10. Tulane's undefeated. Now,
what is Kansas State?
Yeah, are they good? I have no clue if they're good or not because they handled business against South Dakota week 1, smacked Missouri, and then lose to Tulane.
Maybe Tulane's really good. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: if you look at it, because App State lost week 1 in North Carolina, there are 3 teams in G5 that are undefeated, and only one of them is ineligible for the New Year's Six because James Madison is. They're 2-0.
Right.
The 2 undefeated teams are Coastal Carolina and Tulane. So if you were to pick the New Year's Six Bowl, it'd go to one of them if they won the conference championship and they stayed undefeated.
That's true.
Which means App State, for all their wins, all their craziness the last 3 weeks, would be playing in like the Dollar General Bowl. Which that's awful for them.
Yeah, I know.
And So, but yeah, Tulane undefeated. Interesting for sure, to say the least. Vanderbilt beats Northern Illinois 38-28. Their starting quarterback was injured for Vanderbilt, but their backup, AJ Swan, threw 4 touchdowns and was able to come back and win. Vanderbilt 3-1. The only good team they played was Wake Forest, and Wake Forest demolished them. So, I'm not sure how much we're buying that about Vanderbilt right now.
I'm not buying, to be honest with you.
Minnesota beats Colorado 49-7. Colorado's might be the second worst Power 5 team.
Yeah, Colorado's bad. They're not good.
Their coach got the dreaded vote of confidence this weekend from the AD. So that's not a good sign there if you're the Buffs. No. App State and Troy.
Wow.
First of all, I want to talk about Troy at the very end of this game. All you got to do is punt it, Troy. And you're up by where App State has a score touchdown.
Yeah.
And Troy does the Dan Orlovsky and just runs out the end zone.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fine. You're not up by exactly. You're up, but now you're only up by 2. But whatever. You play defense. Then they squib kick it. So now the Hail Mary is a lot shorter. And then Chase Bryce, who we know is good. You've known he's been good for years. Perfect throws a pass, deflected, caught, runs around, touchdown. Insanity in Boone.
Yeah, they're burning that place to the ground 2 weeks in a row for sure.
Yeah,
but
Miracle on the Mountain Part 2.
yeah,
The radio call of it's insane.
It is great. The radio call is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with taking the safety there, but I have a problem with the squib kick.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're gonna, the only reason you take a safety there is, obviously, I mean, if you punt it from where they were, if it gets blocked, I mean, it's pretty much guarantee that App State's it's gonna be a very short field. Obviously, the punt could be bad, and that could put them in plus territory already. So you take the safety so you can kick off and hopefully kick it at least to where they're starting on the 25-yard line. And no, they just squib it, and that was dumb. Yeah. I have an issue with that. But at the same time, the odds were stacked against Appalachian State, and Yosef's magical power prevailed them to a win. So, I mean, not much Troy can do about that. So.
Yeah. App State plays James Madison this week, and James Madison's first Sun Belt game. That could be very fun, too.
Yeah, that's tasty.
A very fun one. App State, though, if you're an App State fan, you might have your heart palpitations got to be crazy after the first 3 weeks of the season.
Your blood alcohol content's got to be through the roof.
Yeah, true. Washington State beats Colorado State 38-7. Wazoo undefeated.
Yes, sir.
Cougs undefeated, and they got a big game against Oregon this weekend. So, see what they can do in that one. Charlotte beats Georgia State 42-41. Good job for Charlotte to get that first win. Chris Reynolds has 31 of 43, 401 yards and 5 touchdowns. Georgia State, I think, is a good team, but man, just some tough breaks for them where they second half against South Carolina, second half against North Carolina, and then the end of that Charlotte game. Yeah. Chance to be at least 2-1, you'd think, or possibly 3-0 if some things go their way. But
we skipped over one that I wanted to mention. Marshall, the team that just beat Dame, goes on the road to Bowling Green, who just lost to Eastern Kentucky in 7 overtimes last week, and loses. So by the transitive property, Bowling Green is better than Notre Dame.
Eastern Kentucky's better than Notre Dame on the transitive property.
The Eastern Kentucky Colonels are better than Notre Dame. Book it. Schedule the home and home right now. Yeah.
Send Notre Dame to Richmond, Kentucky now. This one, Iowa beats Nevada 27-0. This game lasted like 6 hours because of a rain delay. Iowa scored 17 points, and God said, no, we can't watch this anymore. And they came back and finished this. If I was Nevada, I'd be like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to come back out here. And Iowa, and they're like, yeah, we can do it.
I am proud to say that at 2 a.m. I was watching Iowa football. And the best joke that I saw all weekend was somebody posted, wow, I never expected Spencer Petras to play on Sundays, but here we are. God, that was amazing. I love this team. I love it, and I absolutely hate them. But
this is the dumbest football team in America are the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh, gosh, I love them.
America's team is Iowa.
Yes.
Also, I saw something where security left because they weren't paid to stay. So people just brought in their dogs. And there were like 4 dogs in the stadium at like 2 a.m.
There was probably 500 people left after the lightning delay, and 12 of those were dogs. And it was pandemonium.
Just stupidity for sure in that one. Maryland beats SMU 34-27. Maryland is 3-0. September Maryland is the greatest team of all time.
They are.
Now they got to play Michigan. So have fun with that. Oregon State beats Montana State 66-28. Oregon State's 3-0. This game was also played at the Portland Timbers Stadium, and it looked really cool on TV. So I don't know why they play it in Portland, but it was kind of cool.
That's so odd to me.
Yeah.
That's so odd.
Like where it was set up, like it wasn't like the dimensions weren't like weird where it's like, oh, the wall's right here and the end zone's like right here. It was pretty spacious, but like it just kind of looked different. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So very interesting for sure in that one. Arizona upsets North Dakota State 31-28. I call that an upset because
It is.
they would win that one.
I'm pretty
It's the
sure
first,
North Dakota State was favored.
first FBS team to play North Dakota State since 2016 was Arizona, and you see why, because North Dakota State really good.
Yeah.
Then finally, Eastern Michigan, Arizona State. Eastern Michigan goes on the road and beats the Sun Devils 30-21. And Herm Edwards is, if you've seen the video, I think got fired in the end zone.
Yeah, boy got the boot right on the field.
Herm didn't win a lot there, and Herm kind of didn't get college football when he got there.
No.
He didn't even know the team's mascot was the Sun Devils, I think, when he got there. He was confused of like the jersey stuff. It was kind of like all out of touch old man, but we want to make a splash higher. And it didn't work out at all for Arizona State. So there you go. That's 2 Power 5 coaches gone. And now if you're Brian Harsin and Jeff Collins, the leash is short. So got to see what happens there in the next few weeks.
Oh, I don't know. These are at the bottom for some reason.
I saw that too.
About Florida State and Louisville?
Yeah, let's talk about Florida State, Louisville. Florida State wins 35-31 despite Jordan Travis getting injured.
Yeah.
He gets injured, and that one backup quarterback comes in, and then a pick at the very end. Florida State wins it. Florida State is 3-0 now.
Yep.
So, interesting. Florida State. Jordan Travis did practice this week. Did come back to practice today, so he looks like he's good to go. Just to see what he does, but yeah, Florida State could be a pretty good team. I hate it for Malik Cunningham because he's so good and he has nothing around him at Louisville. So
yeah, I agree.
It's rough. And Wyoming beats Air Force 17-14. Wyoming is 3-1. So the Cowboys. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, baby.
Yep. So that concludes week 3 college football. Week 4 college football. Waffle Star review. I feel like this is pretty quick week. South Carolina plays Charlotte on Saturday night in Columbia. South Carolina picked the win by 22 points. Charlotte did beat Georgia State 42-41. Before that, did not look great in their first. They have an extra game up. They played in week 0. Did not look great. But what you need to see from South Carolina, especially in these next 2 weeks when you have probably your 2 easiest chances of a win for the rest of the season, honestly.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's any secret that we need to see Spencer Rattler show us something. Need to have him come out here and have a sound game, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, something along those lines. I would like to see the run game get established, and then hopefully the defense is banged up. That is another thing about the Georgia game. I mean, we already were down 2 starters in Mo Kaba and Jordan Strawn. But then we had some more injuries happen during the game on Saturday. Unsure of the status of everybody, but would be nice to get Cam Smith back and have this defense put together a pretty good effort. But I think the biggest question is obviously just Spencer Rattler. Got to get him going. This should be a week, and next week as well, a good week to establish an offensive identity. Similar to the Titans, offensive coordinator issues are prevalent in South Carolina. They have been for the last 5-6 years. This year's no different. Satterfield obviously was questionable last year, but they ended up keeping him on, and now it's rearing its ugly head. South Carolina's offense has no identity. It's just not. It's not great to watch, and it's not like I can't sit here and tell you exactly what they're going to do. Okay, this is off topic, but I will say one thing about that South Carolina Georgia game, and this plays into the play calling. On our first drive, it was third and like 5.
Yeah.
And South Carolina lines up in a Dak Joyner Wildcat. Please, for the love of God, someone explain to me how that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because this is something that South Carolina's no stranger to. And they did it in the bowl game last year against North Carolina, and it paid dividends, and it was really good. If you thought it was that good against North Carolina, why have we not seen it against the likes of Georgia State or even Arkansas? Why is the Georgia game the best freaking team in the nation, Why is this the first time you pull out the Wildcat like that's like Kirby Smarts might be like, oh my God, I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
And I imagine the coaches meeting went like this. They were sitting around there talking and they're like, hey, what about Dak Joyner Wildcat? You remember in 2019 where Dak Joyner came in against Georgia between the hedges and ran like 18 straight run plays and we beat Georgia? You know what? Let's try to run that again. That's absolutely stupid and so ignorant. Furious about that. With the play calling, we got to establish some kind of identity. No freaking Dak Joyner Wildcats. Where's the wishbone? The wishbone was against Georgia State. Where is that at? Now, I understand last week was not a great time for the wishbone, but, it is what it is. Like, I mean, we got to figure something out, and Spencer Rattler's got to do his thing. Just please, a no stress Saturday, please, like South Carolina, come out and win this game like you should. Win by freaking 24 points. Win, you can win 35-10. I mean, that's fine. I mean, just come out and have a good Saturday and put together some offensive possessions, please, that are good.
Yeah, should be able to. This is not a good defense at all at Charlotte. Like I said, gave 41 points last week. I think Florida Atlantic dropped 42 on them in week 0. So Charlotte gave up 52 against Maryland. This is not a good Charlotte defense. So should have success on offense for sure. And then your defense handle business. Chris Reynolds is a good quarterback, but you should handle business against him for sure in that one. Going to Clemson. They play at noon against Wake Forest on the road. First true road game for Clemson because that Georgia Tech game, while in Atlanta, was at Mercedes-Benz. Clemson 7-point favorites in this one. This is the first time since Dabo Swinney's first 4 years as coach that Clemson has been a single-digit favorite against Wake Forest, which is surprising because Wake Forest offense the past few years with Jamie Newman and Sam Hartman has been very good. Mm-hmm. But Clemson's found ways to stop it. That mesh option that Wake Forest likes to run takes time to develop, but Clemson's defensive line has been able to disrupt it, made Wake Forest one-dimensional, make them throw it around the lot, and that leads to Clemson getting some picks or getting some stops with how the defense is played. But Clemson, maybe without Sheridan Jones, who's been one of the top DBs for them the past few years, got some freshman corners. Sam Hartman's a good quarterback, plus that Wake Forest is going to be rocking. It's a blackout at Wake Forest. They are expecting to, they want to defend their Atlantic Division title. This is your first step if you're Clemson to get back to the ACC championship game. You have them, NC State, and Florida State in the next 3 of the next 4 weeks. You got Boston College in there too, all on the road, and 3 of those are on the road. So gotta go handle business. Clemson historically has not played well in Winston-Salem at times. It's a weird place to play. It's not the smallest thing in the ACC. That's Duke's. But it's the smallest town in the ACC. I think it's Winston-Salem, the smallest campus. So it's a weird environment. And when you go from 85,000 people to 45,000, it's just weird. You saw Notre Dame had struggles the first time they went to Wake Forest because of it. It's a weird place to play. Clemson's got to be able to handle business and get the win. I think they can if their defense continues to play well. And then if the offense just stays consistent, the running game has looked good. And I think if Shipley's tearing off 11-yard rushes, you don't have to throw it hardly. So just keep feeding Will Shipley. But man, you saw Liberty had success, and Liberty again does not have a quarterback. I don't think not as good as Malik Willis last year, and I don't think as good as DJ Uyunglele or K. Klubnik. If for some reason he has to come in, you think that's going to work. But I think Clemson is a little bit more talented. I do like Wake Forest. I like Sam Hartman. I just think Clemson, again, just that talent level is going to help them handle business. I don't think it's a blowout. I don't think Clemson, like last year, Clemson ended up pulling away late and blowing them out. I don't think that happens this year. I think Wake Forest is a lot more mature this year, has a chance to, stay in that ball game if they can. But if Clemson gets a bunch of stops in a row, I wouldn't be surprised if Clemson wins this one by like 14 or 17. But I think Clemson at the most wins this by 10, possibly 7 points where they got to get a stop at the end. It should be a really fun game, though, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be obviously a big test for Clemson's offense. They got to start early and they got to start fast. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, for sure. And again, if Wake Forest wins it, that's their first win over Clemson since Dabo got there. Their last win was that Tommy Bowden's last game on Thursday night. And also that's a big step in the ACC Atlantic, especially if Clemson goes out and loses to NC State. They're 2 games down. They're probably done. And Wake Forest has got a 2-game lead on Clemson, and then we'll look to see what they can do against NC State later in the year. And then Florida State, of course. Florida State handles their business. So rest of the week in college football. Thursday has got a lot of chaos energy in it. You start off with West Virginia, Virginia Tech. West Virginia is still picked to win this game, despite West Virginia having a horrible start to the year. But Virginia Tech hasn't looked great either. So should be a fun one. Coastal Carolina plays Georgia State. Again, Coastal Carolina's 3-0, but they barely beat Buffalo. They barely beat Gardner-Webb. And they barely beat Army. So this is a team that's surviving right now. Georgia State, again, you could argue that could be 2-1 or 3-0 right now, but they're 0-3. The over-under is 62 in this game. So it could get wild. And then Chattanooga, Illinois. Chattanooga is a really good FCS team. They're 3-0. Illinois, questionable at times. Would not be surprised if Chattanooga goes up there and wins this game. So some chaos energy on a Thursday night. And then on Friday, let's calm down with Virginia and Syracuse. Brennan Armstrong and Garrett Schrader going at it. That over-under is 53. Syracuse picked to win by 10.5. That would be huge. That would put Syracuse at 2-0 in the ACC. Yeah. So that's another Atlantic team you got to talk about, too, possibly, if they can get the win. Virginia trying to get their first conference win under Tony Elliott. Saturday, Duke and Kansas. That's all you got to know. Duke and Kansas at noon.
Start your day off right.
Yep.
Start your day right.
This is the first time Kansas has been favored against the Power 5 team since the 2008 season, which is wild. They're favored by 7.5 points, 66.5 is your over-under, because Duke's offense is very good as well. This could be a really, really fun one. Maryland and Michigan. Michigan picked the win by 16.5. This is the first really tough team Michigan's faced. And you got to see against September, Maryland, best team in the nation every year. So, Baylor goes to Iowa State. This could be a defensive slugfest. Iowa State's 3-0. Baylor 2-1, trying to avoid going to 2-2 and avoid their first conference loss. Could be a fun one down in Ames as Iowa State looks to stay unbeaten. Missouri and Auburn, chaos energy in that one for sure.
Yuck! It makes me want to throw up. Actually,
that's a weird, stupid game. That's
check out this. I'm about to spit a fact at you. How about the 2014 SEC championship game rematch? Does that not just sound awful?
Wow, that's disgusting. Hey, everything about that sentence right there.
And that was freaking Auburn. That was Nick Marshall.
Yep, that was Nick Marshall.
That was the kick 6 year. That was the freaking the miracle at
Jordan Hare. Yep.
Yeah, and the championship game was bonkers. It was high scoring, crazy.
Yep. Yeah, insanity for sure. It's wild to think about. And then now look at these two teams. Just TCU and SMU battle for the frying pan on ESPNU. That one could be a lot of fun between those two teams in the Dallas area. For sure in that one. UCLA and Colorado. Colorado is absolute garbage. UCLA has just kind of existed right now. We'll see what happens there, I guess. Yeah. In that one. UMass and Temple. Don't you want to watch that one? All right. That's a game that's going to happen.
Lots of exercise in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Florida and Tennessee at 3:30 on CBS. Florida, can they get on track? Is Tennessee the real deal? I guess we're going to find out in this one. College game day is going to be there. Again, should be in Lawrence, but,
For what it's worth, rivalry game should be a fun watch.
Yeah, for sure. Texas Tech. It's going to be insanity here in Lubbock this Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Game's sold out. Texas Tech, a little disappointed after that game against NC State, but look to see if they can knock off Texas in what should be a fun rivalry matchup. Notre Dame and North Carolina. North Carolina going out there with their defense again. And then you got North Carolina's defense versus Notre Dame's offense is going to be disgusting to watch.
Yes, that's going to be – oh, yeah, it's going to be bad. I'm more impressed that Notre Dame is going to Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't try to put that one like in Charlotte or somewhere, but they're going to Chapel Hill. So
I love that. That's great. North Carolina's a 1-point favorite. Over/under is 56. Notre Dame's defense better be ready.
Yeah, for sure. Drake May, 930 yards. They had the week off last week, but still, I think he's still number one. Also, Kobe Paysour, Gaffney native, leading receiver for North Carolina, with 172 yards, 14 catches, 2 touchdowns. So he's filled up nicely with some injuries to UNC's wide receiver core. Minnesota, Michigan State. Michigan State looking to rebound. Minnesota 3-0 again. They're always good in PJ Fleck, it seems like, on the Golden Gophers. So looking to stay on track is Minnesota there. Could be fun. Indiana, Cincinnati. Cincinnati expect to win this one by 16.5, but Indiana almost beat Cincinnati last year.
Yes.
With Desmond Ridder and company and at a lead at halftime. So never know what could happen in that one. Indiana's going to Cincy this year. So tough environment for sure. Could be a fun one. Like we mentioned, James Madison, App State. This is James Madison's first Sun Belt contest in program history. These two have a lot of history together in the FCS, playing for national titles before. Could be a sneaky fun one in Boone again, and also another heart attack inducing game, and your blood alcohol level is going to be through the roof again in App State if you're in Boone this weekend. Oregon, Washington State. Washington State hosting Oregon on Fox in the Palouse. Going to be a wild atmosphere in Pullman for sure. This is a big one for Wazoo.
Yeah,
they look to knock off a ranked Oregon team that just beat BYU and got some confidence back. See what Wazoo can do in that one. Georgia Tech goes to UCF. UCF is a 20.5-point favorite over Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Ugh, that.
Yeah.
Again, I don't see who Georgia Tech beats for the rest of the year unless Duke slips up against them. And that's about it, honestly, because Duke's looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe Virginia Tech. If Virginia Tech plays bad enough, that's about it. So Jeff Collins on the hot seat for sure. Keep on going down. Rice and Houston rivalry game. Houston should handle business. Arkansas and Texas A&M at Jerry World. This is always a fun game. It has been heartbreak for Arkansas in the past. They finally won last year. This year, ranked number 10. A&M is favored to win this one, though. But what happens when these two teams meet?
I hope Arkansas beats the mess out of them.
Yeah, for sure. Iowa and Rutgers.
Yeah.
Prime time on FS1.
Yes. Amazing.
Spencer Petras in prime time again. Let's go.
First road test, baby. Let's go.
Big Ten matchup. It's going to be, I won't say a good one, but it's going to be a one.
It's going to be something.
Yeah. How about this? Marshall and Troy play each other. Troy after the heartbreak against App State. Marshall after dropping the ball against Bowling Green. That's just crazy coincidence there. On NFL Network, too. SC Network, I know y'all want to see this. Bama and Vanderbilt. Alabama, a 40.5-point favorite.
What you made of, Vanderbilt? Let's see.
You're going to see what happens. You're 3-1. See what y'all can do. Then also, UConn goes to NC State. Sure, NC State will find their offense this week. If they don't, they got questions for sure.
Yeah,
sir. I just want to mention Northwestern and Miami of Ohio. Northwestern's only a 7-point favorite in that game.
Oh, gosh. Yuck.
Yeah. Kansas State. We're going to find out if they're good again or not because they play at Oklahoma.
Not. We're never going to know.
we won't know because they might win this game and then go lose to somebody next week that we don't know if they're good. So, Boston College is at Florida State. Phil Dracovic has really been the only good player for Boston College this year. I hate it for him because he looks really good, but the rest of his team has let him down. They got to play a good Florida State team, but Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be Louisiana, UL Monroe rivalry matchup in Monroe, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a fun one. USC, Oregon State. The over-under is 71 in this game. And they're both 3-0, but it's on the Pac-12 network, so you won't get to see it.
Stupid.
Hate it so much.
That game has chaos energy to me.
Oh, for sure. Wyoming, BYU. BYU's picked to win by 22.5. I feel like that's too high because Wyoming, I think, is a team that will do stupid stuff and somehow find ways to beat you. So
yeah,
that one's got stupid energy as well. Stanford and Washington late now on FS1. Washington's picked to win by 14 points in the LNC of Michael Penix Jr. Now ranked Washington. What they can do there. Then Western Michigan's going all the way out to San Jose State at 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 Eastern to play a game. Just want to mention that. That's a very interesting matchup there.
Yes.
For sure. So and also Utah plays Arizona State. Arizona State again, first game about Herm Edwards. It's also kickoff is at 7:30 local time, and it's going to be 98 degrees. So that's going to suck for everyone involved.
Also, Hawaii's coming to the mainland to Las Cruces, New Mexico, to take on 0-4 New Mexico State, and New Mexico State's a 5-point favorite. If that tells you anything about Hawaii,
yikes! So fun week in college, some very stupid games, some very fun games for sure. NFL, same thing as well. Waffle, you got anything you want to leave the people with?
I need both of my football teams to do something, or else either next week's going to be an all-timer, or, pessimistic Waffle is going to take over for the rest of the year, and it might not be enjoyable for anybody. So pray for me, please.
Yeah, for sure. Quick baseball update. Also, I just wanted to mention this. I was watching it. Aaron Judge has hit his 60th home run. So, he is one away from tying Roger Maris for most in the American League in a single season now. Which is also the Yankees were down in this game to the Pirates late and came back and won it off a walk-off 3-run bomb. So the Pirates are cursed.
Yeah.
For sure. Braves
also, Albert Pujols is still 2 away from 700. So
yeah,
he very well could do it tonight. You never know. But it seems like soon he's going to hit 700, which is going to be a fantastic thing to see. So,
yeah. Braves still have a game back of the Mets. Mets did clinch the playoff bid, but did not clinch the division yet. So, Braves still alive in that division race. They are well in place of the wild card spot over San Diego. And the Los Angeles Angels have been eliminated from the playoffs for the 8th straight year. Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout are the only active MVPs to have never won a playoff game still. So
unreal. Get them out now.
Yeah, that stinks for them. Mariners still alive. So the playoff drought might be ending. They're 5.5 games up on the Orioles and White Sox as of recording time. So Mariners, the drought might be ending, but still a ways to go in the season. So have to see what they can do there. So
somehow the Diamondbacks are still alive.
D-backs still alive after all of this. And it's really funny too, because the AL West, everyone's been eliminated except for the Mariners and Astros. So
yeah.
And I think the Astros already won the division, so it's really just the Mariners have anything to play for right now in that division because the Astros know they're in. So
yeah,
that's wild. Also, everybody in the AL East is somehow still alive, including the Red Sox. So
that's wild as well.
Yeah, so things get crazy toward the end. Phillies have kind of slipped back in the East, and then like I said, Diamondbacks still alive somehow in the playoff race. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you for tuning in, watching, listening. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we have a happy waffle next week to talk to you.
Please.
And we will see you next week.